Hi, this is Stacia, and today we're going to look at a training game. So I'm on a mission. I'm on the road to 1900 USCF, and so I do train and try to improve at chess for any new viewers. So here we go. Here's a training game. This was played on Lichess. It was a 15, 10, I believe 10, yeah, 15 plus 10 rapid game. And let's have a look at it and see what we can learn. I opened with the move e4. Honestly, I planned playing d4. I used to play this all the time, and I just couldn't resist the urge. I played e4. e6 was played, the French defense. d4, d5 is normal. That's the whole reason for playing e6, is to support this pawn push. And I played knight d2. This is my main weapon against the French, called the Tarrasch variation. And now my opponent played c5. This is the open system. I'm pretty familiar with the closed system, but the open system I'm still learning. I went knight f3. I know this to be 3. Oh, excuse me. Okay, and after knight c6, I was actually out of book. I know in the open system, they usually play c takes d4 here, and then white takes here. And after the queen takes, we can actually play bishop c4, tempo on the queen, and I've played against queen d6, and I've played against queen d8 both. Queen d7 is also a move, so there you go. Any queen retreating move on the d file. But this game didn't go that direction. It went knight f3, knight c6. And I was kind of wondering that if I took here and they take back, like, would this be some kind of exchange French? And if so, I wasn't too excited about that possibility. So I found a move that is not a book move, bishop d3. So I'm kind of taunting him to play the c4 move. To me, it kind of like, it puts pressure off my d-pawn. And let's turn the engine on and see what it says at this point in the game. There is one top game in the database from this moment. Huh, it says they should take. Okay, if they take, I think I would have castled. And then against this, wow. Yeah, I don't know if I like my move anymore in light of takes. So let's see what happened. So I played bishop d3, and he didn't take. I'm going to turn the engine back off so we can analyze. Oh, yes, he did. He did take. Oh, yes, that's right. My response was e takes d5. So, okay, and I'm basically saying, like, you can either bring your queen out early, and maybe I'll play here. I don't know that the queen's well placed on d5. Or you can take back with your pawn, and you'll have double isolated pawns. So he actually did that. Now I castled, and he played knight f6. Okay, so at this moment in the game, there's a decision to be made. I can check the king if I'd like. I can go rook e1 check, I can go queen e2 check. These are both possible. Or I could simply play knight b3 and try to round up my pawn. Could do that as well. I actually thought maybe bringing my rook to the open file with tempo would be smart. Let's see what the computer says. Oh, I do remember considering h3 as well. Because if the bishop can't go here, then the bishop won't have any great squares, although I suppose this one's okay. Okay, I played knight b3. So I'm simply threatening the pawn, and he played queen b6 defending. And now I threw in rook e1 check. See if the computer approves, and it does. Here the computer actually says white is +2, which sounds a bit high to me. But I guess I understand because black has these double isolated pawns, and like I'm already castled. I've got my knights out, I've got my bishops out. Black, on the other hand, is kind of far from castling, and he also has a structural weakness, so I could see how white is definitely better here. I played rook e1 check, and I was expecting bishop e7 here. And, you know, I think white has a good move here. And if you'd like to pause your video and find it, go ahead and do so now. Yeah, it's baffling to me because I was planning on taking the pawn here. And my idea is that if he tries something like taking back, then I have this bishop check at the end. And notice the queen's undefended, so I could pick the queen up. But maybe this threw me off because I didn't go for that anymore. Bishop e6. So the bishop is pinned, so he's not really defending this. So understand that. Also, I was thinking, this is the joy of working with chess students, but I've been doing lessons with one of my students on attacking the pinned piece. So I went bishop f5. It's probably not the best move. I'm moving my bishop again in the opening. And I'm guessing I should take the pawn. Let's see. Yeah, I should take the pawn. For sure. Probably for the same reason that I said. But okay, bishop f5 is interesting. I'm saying now my queen's already attacking the pawn. And at the same time, I'm attacking your pinned bishop, which is only defended by a pawn at the moment. So maybe I'll take and you have to take with your f-pawn, in which case I have these sorts of ideas maybe. The knight is guarding, but it just becomes possible. All right, bishop e4. I didn't see this move coming, I have to admit, which maybe I should have. It's a tempo on my rook. So I have to do something about that. And I played bishop d2. He took. And here, you know, I started to rethink my idea of taking back with the queen. This is what I planned. But, yeah, what about queen takes d2, knight e4? This move does look menacing. It breaks the pin so that the bishop actually would be attacking my bishop. And if I take there, he takes my queen. Well, let's have a look at it. I was worried about this move. Like, I can't take here now because that would be unfortunate. So if I can't do that, then I guess I have to defend the bishop. Let's see, maybe something like queen f4 here. And if he takes, we take this way. And the knight is pinned. That is one interesting thing. So, okay. Let's see what the computer says. It actually prefers, this is the move I played in the game, but let's look at this for a second. It's saying that queen takes is okay. Like, all right, it's saying castle, so what's wrong with this move? Oh, take with the bishop. I don't know. I considered this and I thought these pawns are, okay, it wants to take. So this is possible to play like this. We still get this pawn. Yeah, I was worried about pins in the game as well. So, okay, c3, no worries. So I guess this all works out. I kind of missed, to be honest, that I could take this. So, a sign that I should probably practice my calculation. All right, so I took with the knight. This is still an interesting move in my eyes, because I'm basically not giving the knight the opportunity to jump in, and this does open my queen on this diagonal. But I am temporarily saying that I'm not going to try to get this pawn. And so I think if you do this plan, you have to be a little bit worried about the move d3 at some moment. Because if I take, well, I could take with the bishop currently, but if I ever have to take with a pawn, then it's going to wreck my structure, and also this might come at a bad moment for me. So, okay, let's continue. And I think I want to get to the critical moment of the game, or what I felt was the critical moment. Okay, here I took the bishop, and he took. This might be a skeptical decision, but although it opens up his rook, I am winning a pawn. So probably winning a pawn is more important. So I did that. Also, it keeps this pawn weak. And now a5. The idea behind a5 is he wants to play a4 and chase away my knight. My knight doesn't have any squares currently, so if I go here and he takes here, now my rook's undefended, the knight interferes, so this is a bit of a threat. And I'm pretty sure I had to think here before I played the move knight f3. So I'm being a little silly, I get that, moving my knight back and forth. But this is actually a clearance move. I'm saying that I'll put my knight here. And I'm also saying your pawn's under attack again. And I'm also saying your knight is pinned. So, okay. He did play knight e4. And on this move, yeah, I plan to take. This does sacrifice my b-pawn. Let's see what the computer thinks about this move. It approves. Yeah, I have to tell you, it was mostly intuition, but I felt like taking here. If he went for my b-pawn, I could then take his knight and win another pawn. So it's not really a sacrifice. It's just more like a trade of pawns. And if that's true, then I'm actually winning a pawn. So he took, I took. And okay, and well, the position is, it's harder now. I also had this move to consider. Oh wait, no I didn't. I was thinking about this move because I want to play it, but with the pawn here I can't play it yet, so, but now I can. So I'm threatening this. If I get this check in, then my rook comes here next, and I'm probably doing pretty well because I'm more coordinated and up material, but it's still a dangerous position. I have back rank issues, and yeah, I don't know. Also, whenever there's a rook lined up with a knight like this, you have to watch out for exchange sacrifices, because this would totally wreck my kingside structure. I don't think it's good here, but you should, when you see this, you should be aware that it might be good at some point. Okay. I was actually worried about the move knight c3 here. This would be pretty interesting. If I try to dodge it with queen c1, he could play knight e2 check, winning the queen. That would be unfortunate. Wow, it likes that. I don't know why. Yeah, this. I don't know what I should do here. I was actually considering this, but I think that's got to be worse for me. Yeah, it says queen e1. I was thinking he would go here. And now I can take the knight. Oh, The knight's only defended once. Wow. I'm X-ray defending the rook. I missed this, guys. This is why I'm only 1600 and not a grandmaster, right? That looks pretty obvious now. Okay. Let's continue with our analysis. Now I'm going to ask you a question coming up here. All right, so I thought my opponent was playing this to trick me. I think he wanted me to take. Actually, I don't think his trick works. I thought if I take, he takes my rook with check. But again, I missed this. So this is the type of thing that I will make a flashcard out of, missing the X-ray defense there. Because if I put it in my review cycle, then I'll remember this idea of X-ray defending. I don't know. If patterns look familiar, you're more likely to see them. I think that's why grandmasters see so many patterns so quick. Okay, anyway, d4, and I went rook b1. This has got to be the best move, but okay, rook b1. Let's see what happens. I assumed he'd take my a pawn. And, well, my idea was twofold with this, although this position is pretty sharp now. I'm giving him a pass a pawn. That's a downside. But my rook has gained an open file. That is a plus side. And also, I have distracted the queen away from this pawn. So maybe I'll take it now. But this is all very complicated. So I played the move. I'd actually love to take the pawn. But I saw that if I do that, he takes the rook. Definitely not X-ray defended anymore. So I went rook b7. And this just makes the position even sharper. But I think it's an okay move. Let's see what the computer says. Okay, it wants a rook on the 7th. A very common idea. So I like my move. And I had to kind of calculate stuff because, well, my back rank is very weak. Notice that if I were to take this pawn, I have to deal with some checks, like this one maybe. So probably taking the pawn isn't possible yet. If I went knight here, he could simply take, and that's checkmate. So knight c3 came in. I did calculate this move. So I had an idea here, and, well, I'll show you what happened, and I'll ask you a question. I played rook b7, and black played knight c3. So I did calculate this move, and my question for you now is, what was I planning here? What's the best move for white in this position? If you'd like to, pause your video now. Yeah, I was planning a sacrifice here, or a tactic rather, but I wasn't completely sure that it was working, but I was mostly sure. And I played rook takes g7 check. The idea is that I think he has to take the rook. I mean, if you don't, then, I mean, if you go here, this looks like, I don't know. What's happening here? Is he going to get mated? Probably. I'll turn the engine on. Yeah, it says mate in 5. And it wants to sacrifice the knight immediately. So let's just say here or something. I mean, yeah, okay, now check. Again, sacrificing. So if here, check here. And that should be mate. Okay. Well, so I don't think he can really take that. He has, or I don't think he can avoid it. He has to take. And my idea was queen d4 check. So a nice little fork. So I'm attacking the queen, I'm attacking the knight. And, well, it's still an exchange sacrifice, but I do win the g-pawn. And I felt like this knight is his strongest piece by far. And also, I'll be up enough pawns to justify this type of plan. So, okay. He goes back, I take the knight, and rook d8. So, I have a problem, and it's called my back rank. And I actually thought rook to d8 was too slow. Now I can make left, as they say. So my king has an escape square. And notice this does not lose the knight because it is defended. So I think rook d8 is just too slow. Computer wants queen f7. Wow, retreating move. I think maybe I like this better. Yeah, and this is the other part of my calculation. I was actually planning queen e1 here. Oh my gosh, this loses bad. Well, I would have lost the game. What's the follow-up? a4. I totally missed this, so now I can't stop this, I guess. Yeah, I need to come here, and I can't. My own pawn's blocking. Wow. Another flashcard moment. So I guess instead you have to go here, and then I was calculating this move. But yeah, I do have a check. And this is a perpetual. All right, I didn't see that it was perpetual, but that's pretty interesting. So let's continue. Rook d8. Perhaps a little slow, but it does activate his rook. I mean, the other thing is that if I was him, I'd be hesitant to remove the rook from behind the pawn. But okay. I play g3, and I'll turn the engine off now. Rook d1 check, and now I can simply go king g2, no problem. And queen d5 was played. So you'll notice this idea of keeping the queen located on the checking diagonal. This happens a lot in major piece endings because if the queen ever moves away, I'll have checks, and those could be problematic. So this is a very solid move. Defending the rook, centralizing the queen, pinning the knight even. And the knight is now attacked twice, but I do have it defended twice. The only thing I had to be aware of here was maybe rook g1 check. That could be a thing. I cannot take with the knight, but I could take with the king, and then he would take here, threatening the square. But I actually thought this would still be okay for me because I'm going to, well, probably checkmate him, I thought. But let's continue. Okay, I played rook c7. Usually threatening mate's a good idea. I didn't see a great response to this. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and he played rook d4. So I have a question for you. What would you play here as white? So he basically blocked my mating idea. What would you do? Pause your video and let me know. Yeah, so he was trying to take advantage of my pinned knight, but here's the problem. Queen takes rook. When he takes the queen, it unpins the knight. So he did this, but I mean, that basically sacked an exchange. I can go king g1, and now, yeah, queen f6. I think queen f6 isn't a good move, but then I tried to find another move for black. I don't see one. How do you defend mate? This is covered. This doesn't work. This, I mean, there's nothing, right? Nothing along here is going to defend mate. I guess you could go here, and then I check you. Like, yeah, I don't think there's any good defense. There's not even this check available. So after queen f6, I think white's winning because, well, I must be winning here. I can take, and I'll show you the endgame, but we won't spend a lot of time on it. Given the fact that white's 2 pawns up, this is winning. So I'll show you my version of a conversion. Do you like that line? All right, so attack this pawn. This is, I calculated that I would do this because this is his only real threat. He defended, king g2. It's time to bring my king up. He really can't win my pawn without giving up his pawn. So I think it's okay for me to advance and bring my king up and stuff. Okay, my king comes up. I come here. I thought maybe I'd like threaten some things with my king, just be annoying. Also, important endgame lesson, if you achieve this, where the king is trapped on the back rank, it's a good idea to maintain that for as long as you can. Because my king's getting active, and his king won't be able to. So, as GM Ben Feingold would say, white is up a king. All right, so he goes there. I said, no, I'm not ready to part with that. I probably could even play f4 here, because he doesn't have this. But okay, this is fine. Yeah, c4, I'm just saying, you know, take my pawn. He finally did. I took. Now I am threatening this at least, so I'm letting the king up a little. Check. Yeah, I didn't even take the pawn. I just marched the king up. This means I can check now and force him back, which I did. And I figured I can trade pawns this way, and now this looks just impossible to defend. How do you defend? The king's coming up, the pawns are coming up. And in this position, I'd like to tell you my opponent resigned, but they actually just left the game. Yeah, that's not polite. Don't do that, guys. Well, you guys watching my video, you know that already, but yeah, if you really want to resign, just hit the resign button and say good game. I've been mad before and tempted to do that, but just don't do it. If you're mad, it's a great way to build your character by doing the right thing and saying the right thing, even though you're mad. That is possible. But he did resign because here I'm going to play check, king over, g8 equals queen, checkmate. So okay, I hope you enjoyed the game, and I'll be back with more videos. Bye.